Who are we? We are the ones who returned from the Appalachian Service Project. We are not the ones you sent.
Where? So we went to Hinton, West Virginia, Summers County, and I have a few statistics to give you some background about the county that we were living in. So here in Middlesex County, the percentage of people with a degree, bachelor's or higher, is 78%. In Hinton, West Virginia, in the Summers County, it is 17%. In Hinton, West Virginia, 25% of people live in poverty, and 1.9% in the Middlesex County live in poverty. The median income in Summers County is $35,000, and in Middlesex County it is $170,000.
This is when we left July 23rd for Hinton, West Virginia, and returned July 31st.
For the what, we went on a trip called the Appalachian Service Project, or we call it ASP. And it's hard for us to explain really what it was. It's sort of a service project where we went down and we helped families who can't afford it to repair their homes to make it warmer, safer, and drier. But it's not just building their homes and help building, like repairing their homes. It's more. It's the relationships that you make with the families that you're with, then the relationship you make with your work crew, and the relationships that you make with the people at the center. And it's hard for us to really convey how much that it impacts us.
And now we're going to try. So we're going to go down the line, each share either a moment that we felt was very meaningful or a takeaway that we had from our trip. I'm Liam, and my moment was the very last day when the rest of my work crew was working on the siding. They finished it up. It was very important to get done. But that left me alone, working 20 feet off the ground in a ladder, finishing up the roof. And one of the family members came over, saw that I was working alone, and was with me the whole day, helping me. Just holding the ladder, doing every little tiny thing that could be helpful. And I was just really amazed because he could have been doing something else for his work or whatever, but he was there helping me get my job done.
So my God moment, so there were 2 kids and 2 adults at the house that I was working at, and at the beginning of the week, the kids didn't really interact with us. They were just doing their own thing. We didn't really get to know them. But then one day, when my crew we were making a trench and we were shoveling dirt into it, they came out and helped us shovel it in, and I thought that was really sweet of them because they didn't have they could have been doing something else, but they thought it was so much fun. They had so much fun, and they were so happy to help. And it just made me think that even though they don't have technology and the luxuries that we do, they still found happiness, and they still have fun.
Hi, so I'm Amy, and my favorite moment that was the most memorable for me on this trip was I was doing a project where I was tiling a bathroom, and we honestly were having lots of difficulty with it because we had to do tons of tiny cutouts, and there was just lots to get done. So my favorite moment was when we finally finished and put the last one in, and it fit perfectly. And it was just, I was so proud, and we were all very proud of what we had done. And we made everyone go look at it, and it was just a great moment for us, and it made me feel like I actually made an impact, and I finally accomplished something.
I'm Julia, and my group was working on a porch, and for the first 2 days we spent mostly digging holes, and it didn't seem like we accomplished much because we were trying to get the dirt out of the holes for the posts for our porch. And then in the middle of the week we finally got the frame up after lifting it and measuring so many times, and we just had a big sense of accomplishment because we'd actually gotten something done, and that was my God moment.
I'm Adam, and I have really the takeaway that I had, and it was just the relationships that I created with friends on the van and on the work site, the people, the family that we had met, and they were just so helpful and kind and welcoming to us. It was experience.
I'm Charlotte, and I was working on the same porch as Julia. And for most of our week, it was just really hot every day, kind of exhausting. We were all usually really ready to go home at the end of the day. But there were 2 work days where it started raining, like very close to when we were going home. And so instead of being logical and like packing up our stuff and like going back to the center, we decided to keep working because we were just so excited about the work we were doing, and we really had a sense of unity in like how much we wanted to get this done, like accomplishing things. And yeah, it was just a really great experience.
I'm Catherine, and so on the last day, my group was working on flooring, and we had to finish it all in that day. And at the very end, there was kind of a slant, and we couldn't cut the boards that well in that way, so we kind of couldn't really finish it without John McNeil. So eventually, he ended up getting it, and when we put in that last board, it just felt like everything was just complete and finished. So it was just a really good feeling.
Hi, I'm Emily, and my moment was when the lady said she loved me, and that just made me feel so close to God.
My name's Rachel, and my group had 2 work sites that we worked on. So at the first one, there was this man named Ray, and Ray would carry around with him a piece of wheat, and he would tickle the back of your neck with it, and when you went to swat it away, he would go, "Gotcha!" And so on the last day, we had finished at our first work site, where Ray was, and we were headed to our second, but we wanted to go and stop by and say goodbye to them. And when we got there, they weren't at the house because they were out doing something. And I didn't realize how much I was going to miss saying goodbye to them until we didn't get to. And so we were at our second house, and we were working, cutting boards for something. And I feel a tickle on the back of my neck, and when I turned around to look, it was Ray. And I don't know how they found out where we were or how they came, but it was really touching to see them come say goodbye, and I was really glad I got to say goodbye because I think I connected with them more than I thought I had.
Hi, I'm Davis. So on Tuesday in West Virginia, we went to a Veterans Museum, and one of the veterans gave a presentation on D-Day. And so his name was Kurt, and a lot of the people who saw the presentation were really moved by it and touched by it. And so that was pretty impactful. But afterwards, me and a couple of my friends went to the Dairy Queen, and we got our ice cream and we sat down, and then Kurt walked in. So we convinced Kurt to come sit with us. And we sat and talked with Kurt for 45 minutes about really just anything we wanted to. And then at the very end, we all stood up and we sang "God Bless America" with Kurt in the middle of a Dairy Queen. And it might have looked a little odd, but it was really moving to know how much Kurt had impacted us and how connected we felt with him in the short time we've known him.
I'm Carolyn. My takeaway was also what to do with Kurt, swear to God. So he gave his presentation in the lower level of the Veterans Museum. So me and Peter were walking back up the stairs to exit the building and go back to the center after his presentation was over. Peter was like, "I left my water bottle downstairs." So we went back downstairs, and no one was down there except for Kurt. And we're walking around trying to find Peter's water bottle. And we see this picture of this veteran on the wall with the last name Chigurillo. And Peter said something to Kurt about it. And instead of Kurt just saying like, "Wow, like that's good for you," Kurt was kind of like, "Oh my gosh, this is so cool! Like is Chigurillo Italian? Like blah 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 blah." I'm just standing there like listening to their conversation, and then Kurt turns to me and goes, "You have to take a picture." I'm like, "Okay." So I get out my phone. He's like, "All right, do you want something to stand on? You have to take it from this angle, or but you could take it from this angle too. Like why don't you get Peter closer?" And he just got really into the picture. He really wanted us to appreciate it, and so we ended up spending that time with Kurt, and I took away the fact that people there were just so happy to be around us, no matter how well they knew us. We'd be driving up to our work site, and people would be on their porches and just wave to us as we drove by, and it just really meant a lot to me that people who had no idea who we were just took the time out of their day to be kind to us.
I'm Thomas, And my takeaway was that we played basketball on one of the Tuesday nights that we were there. And it was pitch black. You couldn't see the ball until it was right here. And it just worked. It was amazing. And everyone had a blast. And yeah.
Hi, I'm Carl. So my biggest takeaway is probably the connections I've formed with a lot of people here. Some of them I were friends with before, and some I became friends with on this trip. And it was like sharing these experiences, like the basketball, like going to Dairy Queen, that really solidified the relationships and created a strong couple.
I'm Alonzo, and the thing I'd like to share is the last day we were at the center, we had an activity where they gave us a piece of cloth, just a small square, and we had to, or our activity was to write down all the memories that we had made during the week, and then we cut the fabric into strips, and some people still have them on them right now. But we just started writing memories, and it just kept coming and coming, pouring out. And the fact that we had made so many memories during the week that they had to stop us from writing them down it's just incredible. The fact that in one short week we had so much that we wanted to remember forever, it's just incredible.
Hi, I'm Monica, and I just wanted to say kind of in conclusion, it felt really great to help these people and to fix their homes, knowing that we had such a big impact on their lives, but I personally think they had such an even bigger impact on others.
I'm Emily, and for me, the biggest takeaway, or the biggest thing for me is when I came back from ASP and sort of adjusting back to everyday life. And for me, there were times like I would get back and I'd be like, oh, I can't do this anymore. I was just like in a bad mood, and then there's just, you sort of feel a feeling of guilt because you are in such a bad mood and you're taking everything for granted. That's like you have just like everything that you need to live like a happy, healthy life. But the people down there are like extremely happy and charismatic and smiling, and they don't even have the things that they need. And it's you feel guilty because you feel like you're taking advantage of everything you have, and like you're so down, and they're all so happy, but they don't have everything.
I'm Anna, and then I have another takeaway after I got home that impacted me, was mostly the one thing I kind of noticed about myself and like around me when I got back was the silence of everything. Because back in like the beginning of summer, when you're like leaving school and you're hanging out, and then the sun's like welcome, and you bathe in it, and it's great, and you love it, and you take a nap, and it's awesome. And I want to take a nap when I speak, but but like the difference between that kind of silence and the silence when you came back was it was more like an empty, like you don't really know what to do with yourself silence, because like you're so used to like even sleeping, there's like fans surrounding you and like people whispering and like people yelling at people to turn off their phones, even though it's like half an hour past lights out, like it's fine, over it. And like sinking down into the floor and the air mattress, the sweat coming down your back, and it's very uncomfortable. But even though once you get home and you're like in your bed and it's really comfortable, the first thing you notice is just how quiet everything is, and you just kind of want to fill it with something like the community we had on ASP.
I'm Peter, and I did find my water bottle, if you're all wondering. Reflecting back on my ASP trip, in the beginning I was honestly nervous about a lot of things. I didn't really know like who was going to be my band, and some of them I didn't realize went to the same school or church I went to. And but as each of the 720 miles went by, so did our reservations about where we would each other. And now today, each and every single one of them feels not just like a coworker or a band group, but rather a family. And family is a new word that has been redefined for me on this trip. The connections made with the homeowners, the ASP staff, and ourselves has grown immensely. If someone were to ask me what I did on my ASP trip, I could tell them I built a porch or installed a snow guard. But those are all things I could do here in your backyard for you. Something I did when I got home was I went to my porch And I actually wanted to see if we built it better than the people that built my house. And I was sitting there and I realized what I did. I made a difference. I made a difference in my homeowner's life, my peers' lives, and my own life. And that difference is something that I will never take for granted.
So I also have a takeaway. So speaking for a lot of us, when we went into this trip, we went in with kind of a work-oriented mind, that the most important thing we were doing on this trip was, as ASP says, making the families' homes safer, warmer, and drier. And we went through tool trainings, we talked about the etiquette when talking about the houses and how we were going to fix them, and the conditions that they would be in. So again, we kind of went in thinking like every day we were working to get and reach our goal of repairing the houses. So as you can imagine, it was pretty disappointing for my group when we didn't finish the repair that we were doing. We were doing a floor and we were supposed to retile it, and we actually didn't get to the tiling. So that was pretty disappointing and frustrating for us because despite all of our hard work and our efforts, every single day we were there working and we just weren't able to finish it. So one moment that was particularly enlightening for me was on the last day when we were saying the goodbyes to our family. It came from this man. He was the homeowner. He was one of the homeowners. He was an elderly man. He was disabled with a bad back, so he was pretty fairly introverted, and we didn't really communicate the whole week. He kind of just sat in his bed in the corner and watched us. So on the last day, I said, his name was Buckwheat. I said, bye Buckwheat, I really enjoyed meeting you, and I hope your back feels better. And the first words that he spoke to me all week was, it sure feels a whole lot better when you folks are around. And that was something that really forced me to kind of take a step back and realize that the most important thing that we gave to these families this week was the love and making them feel valued and acknowledged and that they mattered. And so I think that's something that I'll bring into my life here because no matter the rewards that you get and the acknowledgement, it's important to just keep giving and sacrificing for other people because no matter, like I said, the acknowledgement that you get, someone somewhere is benefiting, you're helping them, and God thanks you for the love that you give other people.
Yeah, I wanted to just say a little for the adult leaders as well, and present both a takeaway but also a bit of an appeal. So I had two takeaways. One was really expected and one was unexpected. The expected one was to feel a lot more connectedness and bonding with the people that I went on the trip with. We sleep in a big room together, eat the same food, we work together, we struggle together. And that was an unexpected outcome. I expected to feel that, and it's a great feeling to be bonded with all of these people. I think the unexpected one was, so I've been a member here for 10 or 12 years, and served on vestry, and been involved in many of our activities. And, this trip just gave me a much deeper sense of belonging and bonding with this church as a whole. So I would invite you, if you haven't been on ASP and you're interested, definitely take it up, give it a try, and come on the next trip and enjoy that deeper sense of bonding and connection with this parish. Thank you.
And finally, how? How were we able to have all these amazing experiences that we shared with you today? One way was definitely through the amazing leaders that we've had, and if you all wave, I guess, or stand up, Jack. They were really incredible throughout the entire trip. They spent a long time planning before we left, and then while we were down there, they dealt with us the whole time. When we were begging to go get ice cream, or when we were asking how strong their car ride is, all on the exhaustion that they were suffering from the little sleep. And also through the congregation, through all of your generous donations and your support. That's the only reason we were able to go down and have these great experiences. So we really genuinely thank you and our leaders for giving us this experience that we will now be able to take for the rest of our lives. So thank you, and we hope you enjoyed our presentation.
you.